In just 29 seconds, one DHS document exposed a $6.4 million conspiracy that destroyed both the FBI director and Homeland Security Secretary simultaneously. Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin didn't need dramatic speeches or partisan attacks. She simply read from classified deportation records that proved Kash Patel and Kristi Noem had been systematically deporting U.S. citizens while lying to Congress about it. Cameras captured both officials' faces draining of color as they realized their coordinated cover-up was being broadcast live to 127 million viewers. The House Homeland Security Committee chamber fell into stunned silence. What evidence did Slotkin reveal that made America's top security officials choose between admitting they had violated citizens' constitutional rights or committing felony perjury on live television? March 3, 2026, 2:15 p.m., room 331 of the Cannon House office building. The afternoon light streaming through tall windows would soon illuminate the most explosive congressional testimony in Homeland Security history. Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin sat like an intelligence analyst who had spent decades dissecting government lies, charcoal blazer, sharp as her questioning style. American flag pin positioned precisely as she prepared to expose the biggest deportation scandal since Operation Wetback. At the witness table sat Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, projecting the confident authority of someone who believed her cabinet position made her untouchable from congressional oversight. Navy suit pressed to perfection, DHS badge catching the light, briefcase containing what she assumed were ironclad talking points about immigration enforcement and national security priorities. Beside her, FBI Director Kash Patel radiated bureaucratic confidence, charcoal suit tailored to project federal law enforcement credibility, FBI badge gleaming as he arranged classified folders that would soon become evidence of systematic constitutional violation. Behind them sat 10 government lawyers, 6 from DHS, 3 from FBI, and 1 White House counsel representative. Their mission was protecting both officials from congressional questioning about controversial deportation operations using national security claims and executive privilege. What they hadn't anticipated was facing a former CIA analyst who understood exactly how to dismantle coordinated government lies through precise intelligence methodology. The morning preparation had been exhaustive. Slotkin's national security team had spent 4 weeks cross-referencing deportation records with citizenship databases, uncovering systematic violations that both agencies had been hiding from congressional oversight. Congresswoman, her chief of staff, had warned during final briefing, "If these documents are accurate, we're about to expose the most massive violation of citizens' rights since Japanese internment. Both Patel and Noem will face federal prosecution for constitutional violation." Behind Noem and Patel, their legal teams appeared confident but increasingly nervous as the hearing progressed. DHS General Counsel Robert Silvers had reviewed their testimony for weeks, believing their carefully crafted responses about immigration enforcement were legally bulletproof. What Silvers didn't know was that a senior DHS whistleblower had been secretly copying classified deportation records for months, providing Congress with documentary proof of systematic citizen deportations. The hearing was supposed to focus on border security and immigration enforcement effectiveness. Republican committee members expected friendly questions that would allow Noem and Patel to showcase their tough immigration policies and operational successes. Democratic members planned standard queries about due process and constitutional compliance. No one expected Slotkin to arrive with smoking gun evidence that would trigger the most devastating constitutional crisis in modern immigration history. At exactly 2:15 p.m., Chairman Mark Green recognized Congresswoman Slotkin for her questioning period. The gentlewoman from Michigan is recognized for 10 minutes. The time allocation seemed routine, but Slotkin would need less than 1 minute to completely destroy both officials' credibility and potentially end their careers. Slotkin opened with deceptive calm, her voice carrying the analytical precision of someone who had spent years evaluating classified intelligence for accuracy and deception. "Secretary No, Director Patel, thank you both for your testimony today about immigration enforcement operations. I'd like to clarify some statistics you provided about deportation accuracy rates." Both witnesses relaxed slightly. Statistics questions were manageable territory. with prepared responses about operational efficiency and enforcement success metrics. Congresswoman Noem replied with practiced confidence, "DHS maintains the highest accuracy standards in immigration enforcement, with over 99.7% of our deportations involving verified non-citizens who lack legal status in the United States." Patel nodded supportively. The FBI provides crucial investigative support to ensure DHS operations target only individuals who have violated immigration law and pose potential security risks to American communities. Their coordinated responses sounded rehearsed and statistically impressive, exactly the kind of precision that triggered Slotkin's intelligence analyst instincts about manufactured data. 99.7%. Slotkin repeated thoughtfully, "That's remarkably precise, Secretary Noem. Since you both mentioned accuracy verification, let me ask about a specific case that might help illustrate your screening processes." She opened a manila folder with deliberate precision, revealing documents clearly marked with DHS and FBI letterheads. Both witnesses' confident expressions immediately flickered as they recognized internal agency correspondence. This concerns Operation Homeland Sweep, conducted jointly by DHS and FBI from January through February 20. Secretary Noem, how many individuals were deported during this operation? The question seemed routine. Referencing a recent enforcement action both agencies had publicized as a major success in removing dangerous criminals and illegal immigrants, Congresswoman Noem replied carefully. Operation Homeland Sweep resulted in the removal of approximately 2,847 individuals who lacked legal status and posed potential security concerns to American communities. 2,847 individuals? Slotkin repeated with analytical precision. Director Patel, since the FBI provided investigative support, can you confirm that all 2,847 deportees were verified as non-citizens before removal? The question appeared straightforward, seeking confirmation of basic due process and constitutional compliance. That's correct, Congresswoman, Patel responded with bureaucratic confidence. FBI background investigations confirmed that all individuals targeted in Operation Homeland Sweep lacked legal immigration status and could be lawfully removed under federal immigration authorities. All individuals confirmed as non-citizens, Slotkin echoed thoughtfully. Then she lifted a document clearly marked Top Secret, DHS Internal Audit, that made both witnesses visibly tense. Secretary Noem, let me share something that might help refresh your memory about Operation Homeland Sweep's actual results. She cleared her throat and began reading with devastating clarity. This is an internal DHS audit conducted by your own Inspector General's office, dated February 28, 2026. Reviewing Operation Homeland Sweep outcomes. Both witnesses looked increasingly uncomfortable as they recognized their own agency's classified documentation. The audit states, Slotkin continued with prosecutorial precision, and I quote, Operation Homeland Sweep resulted in the erroneous deportation of 1,247 verified U.S. citizens, including 312 military veterans, 89 federal employees, and 156 individuals born on U.S. military bases overseas. Total cost of constitutional violations, $6.4 million in legal settlements and administrative corrections. End quote. The revelation was explosive. Nearly half of Operation Homeland Sweep's deportations had targeted U.S. citizens, not illegal immigrants. 1,247 U.S. citizens. Slotkin emphasized with controlled fury. Secretary Noem, you just testified that 99.7% of deportations target verified non-citizens. According to your own Inspector General, 44% of Operation Homeland Sweep deportees were actually American citizens. Can you explain this discrepancy? The question was devastating because any answer would either confirm systematic constitutional violations or contradict classified DHS audits. No aim attempted damage control. Congresswoman, immigration enforcement involves complex legal determinations that occasionally require administrative review and correction through established legal processes. Administrative review and correction, Slotkin repeated with analytical intensity. Secretary, let me help clarify what your administrative review discovered. She lifted a second document, this one marked FBI, Internal Investigation Report, that made Patel visibly pale. This is Director Patel's own internal investigation into FBI's role in Operation Homeland Sweep, dated March 1, 2026, just 2 days ago. The timing was devastating. Patel had known about systematic constitutional violations while preparing his congressional testimony. Director Patel's investigation reveals, Slotkin read with methodical precision, that FBI agents repeatedly ignored evidence of U.S. citizenship during background investigations because, quote, DHS leadership prioritized deportation numbers over constitutional compliance to demonstrate enforcement effectiveness for congressional testimony, end quote. The admission was staggering. The FBI had documented that both agencies deliberately ignored citizenship evidence to inflate deportation statistics. Social media erupted as viewers watched two of America's top security officials exposed as participants in systematic constitutional violations. Citizen deportations began trending alongside Slotkin Exposed and Constitutional Crisis. The story was exploding beyond the hearing room into a national conversation about government accountability and citizens' rights. But the most damaging evidence, Slotkin continued with intelligence analyst Momentum, concerns how both agencies coordinated to hide these constitutional violations from Congress. She lifted a third document, this one marked Joint DHS-FBI Classified Communication, with multiple agency stamps. This is a classified memorandum from Secretary Noem to Director Patel, dated February 25, 2026, discussing congressional testimony preparation. Both witnesses looked physically ill, realizing their secret coordination had been completely exposed to Congress. Secretary Noem's memo states, Slotkin read with devastating clarity, and I quote, Cash, we cannot allow Congress to discover the citizen deportation numbers from Homeland Sweep. Prepare FBI testimony stating 100% non-citizen verification. I will coordinate DHS statistics claiming 99.7% accuracy. Our enforcement reputation depends on hiding the 147 citizen deportations. End quote. The revelation was constitutional dynamite. Both officials had coordinated lying to Congress about systematic violations of citizens' rights. Hide the 1,047 citizen deportations, Slotkin emphasized with controlled outrage. Secretary Noem, you ordered the FBI director to help you lie to Congress about deporting over 1,000 American citizens. Is this your understanding of constitutional law enforcement? The question was unanswerable, without admitting to systematic constitutional violations and congressional perjury. Patel attempted desperately to salvage the situation. Congresswoman, immigration enforcement involves complex legal determinations that may require subsequent administrative review through established legal processes. Complex legal determinations, Slotkin shot back immediately. Director, let me read from your own agent's reports about these complex determinations. She lifted a fourth document, this one from FBI field offices. This is a compilation of FBI agent reports from Operation Homeland Sweep, documenting concerns raised during the operation. The classification markings indicated the most sensitive FBI operational information. Agent Sarah Martinez from the Chicago field office reported. Slotkin read, with prosecutorial momentum, and I quote, Subject Maria Gonzalez presented valid U.S. passport and military service records. DHS ordered deportation anyway, stating congressional testimony required high deportation numbers regardless of citizenship status. Agent Marcus Johnson from Miami reported. Subject James Thompson, born on Guantanamo Naval Base, clearly U.S. citizen. DHS insisted on deportation to meet statistical targets for Secretary Noem's testimony. End quote. The documented evidence was overwhelming. Both agencies had systematically violated citizens' rights to inflate congressional testimony statistics. Statistical targets for Secretary Noem's testimony. Slotkin concluded with finality. You both coordinated to deport American citizens to create impressive statistics for Congress, then lied about it under oath. You violated citizens' constitutional rights to enhance your own political reputations. How do you justify this betrayal of your oaths and the American people? The question hung in the air, like a constitutional indictment. Both witnesses sat in complete defeat, unable to provide any justification for documented constitutional violations and perjury. The chamber erupted in chaos. Republican committee members looked mortified, realizing they had been supporting officials who deported American citizens. Democratic members stared in shock at the scope of constitutional violations being revealed through meticulous documentation. Committee Chairman Mark Green, typically supportive of aggressive immigration enforcement, sat with his head in his hands. Ranking Member Benny Thompson frantically took notes, clearly preparing for immediate oversight investigations. Even Republican members began distancing themselves, understanding that defending citizen deportations was politically impossible. In the gallery, constitutional law professors scribbled notes furiously. Professor Lawrence Tribe from Harvard whispered to his colleague, "This is systematic constitutional violation at the highest levels. We're witnessing potential impeachment evidence being created in real time." Television networks immediately broke into regular programming. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow announced, "We're watching what may be the most serious constitutional crisis since Watergate." Even Fox News struggled to defend documented deportations of American citizens and military veterans. "I have no further questions," Slotkin said quietly, her analytical work complete. As Noem and Patel sat in stunned silence, they realized that 29 seconds of precise questioning had exposed not just perjury, but systematic constitutional violations that would trigger impeachment proceedings, federal prosecution, and complete restructuring of immigration enforcement oversight. Within hours of the hearing's conclusion, the political earthquake was reshaping Washington. House Speaker Mike Johnson announced emergency hearings to investigate systematic violations of citizens' constitutional rights. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called for immediate special prosecutor appointment to investigate both officials for perjury and constitutional violations. President Biden, speaking from the Rose Garden that evening, announced he was deeply disturbed by allegations of citizen deportations and promised immediate review of all immigration enforcement operations and full accountability for constitutional violations. The statement carefully avoided prejudging legal proceedings while signaling administrative action was inevitable. That evening, as America processed the most explosive constitutional testimony in modern history, one thing was crystal clear: Alyssa Slotkin had accomplished something unprecedented. She had used intelligence analysis methodology to expose systematic government violations of citizens' rights through documentary evidence that couldn't be denied, deflected, or dismissed. The 29 seconds that ended two careers would be remembered as the moment when congressional oversight proved that even the most powerful officials couldn't escape accountability when confronted with documented evidence of constitutional violations. Sometimes the strongest weapon isn't a badge or deportation authority. It's analytical precision, meticulous preparation, and the courage to expose government officials who violate citizens' rights while lying about it. When those sworn to protect Americans become their greatest threat, it takes someone like Alyssa Slotkin to remind America that constitutional rights still matter. If this story revealed how far government officials will go to create impressive statistics, don't just watch in silence. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, where constitutional violations get exposed and government lies get documented with evidence. Hit the notification bell. The next revelation might expose violations of your own rights. What would you do if you discovered your government was deporting American citizens while lying to Congress about it? Drop a comment below. This dramatized story is inspired by real events and public figures. All dialogue and incidents are fictionalized for commentary and educational purposes. This is not intended to defame, but to explore themes of constitutional rights, government accountability, and immigration enforcement in American democracy.